Hello everyone, this is your Krishna from Women Today YouTube channel. So in this channel, we have been doing offline interviews and online interviews. We are just traveling to different cities. We are just doing offline interviews, and we are also doing online interviews across different cities in India and also across different countries in the world. So today's our guest is from Dubai. Her name is Ayushy. She is the founder of Vastu Ayushy, and she is right now in Dubai in downtown. So I welcome you, Ayushy ma'am, to this Women Today YouTube channel. So please kindly introduce about yourself, about the kind of work that you're doing to the audience who are watching this interview right now, ma'am.
Sure. Firstly, thank you, Krishna, for having me on your show. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. And I hope we continue this interview in that same spirit and we're going to have lots of fun.
Sure.
So, I don't need to tell anybody about Vastu. I think everybody pretty much knows what is Vastu nowadays. But at Vastu Ayushi, what we do is that we align people's spaces according to their goals. That is basically, you have people, they are doing the right things, they're putting in the right efforts, they have the right mindset, and yet that breakthrough is not coming. So, this is what we do. We align people's goals with their spaces so that they can get these magical breakthroughs in life.
So
Life
basically,
में थोड़ा मजा आ जाए.
I just wanted to ask you something, ma'am. It's very
Mhm.
simple. Like, if anybody wants to meet you for the very first time and they're asking, like, ma'am, tell me what do you do? So, how do you explain the kind of Vastu things that you're doing? Because most of the people they'll be thinking, like, yeah, Vastu based on Indian culture, it's something like it's a part of the home. Like, whatever it's in the blueprint, we should make it accordingly so that the Vastu comes and fits in, and whatever we do, it ultimately results in success. But to other people, like
Correct.
Eastern people, like Western culture, they'll be like totally different. They'll be wondering, like, okay, I have made my blueprint very well, and I have constructed my home according to the government regulations and something like that. So why do I have to look at Vastu? So to those people, how do you
So,
actually help them understand this
what you
Vastu culture, ma'am?
said Correct. What you said, Krishna, is very correct. Like, we make according to government rules and regulations, but we make according to architectural designs. But are we making our spaces in alignment with bylaws of nature, in alignment with our goals, in alignment with the kind of functionality we want that what we are going to do in that house? Are we making that house according to the person living in the house and according to that person's cosmology? Are we making a house in accordance with telluric power spots, or are we going against these very bylaws? So when we go against these bylaws, that's where disharmony happens. So in Vastu, you can say it's a holistic science of architecture so that humans can grow to their potential easily and effortlessly without that, opposing force. It makes life easy. मजा आ जाता है लाइफ में. So ये जरूरी है करना.
So it's basically like Vastu helps us to kind of speed our goals. If we are,
100%.
yeah, if we are aligned rightly in that path, it acts as a catalyst by which it speeds our process towards the success, or it will be like a hindrance, like an obstacle. Like whatever we do, there will be like we are actually doing it the right manner, but the calamities which is happening, the outside circumstances, it will not be kind of favoring us. The wind will be opposite to our direction. Like whatever we do, something or
Correct.
the other hindrance will be coming. So I think at one point of time, Vastu will be helping us, like it will be making us go towards the success as a catalyst. So I just put it in that way.
100%.
And also the same time,
100%.
yeah, and also the same time, it's basically like Vastu, some or the other way, it's connected to many scientific things. So people who do not
For
believe,
sure.
yeah, it's a scientific thing which I wanted to tell people. So
For sure. And if I can add to that, if we go back in the past, why we call it a science is because uh, these things can be repeated over and over again to get the same results. Correct. That's why we call it science. It's actually science of architecture from the ancient times. And this science has definitely evolved. Like there are so many Vastu Shastras written over different time periods, and you can see how they have evolved to match with the current times. So now Vastu Shastra is still evolving and to match up with current times. And yes, it is definitely very, very scientific. That's actually what got me so intrigued in the subject, that it's not the mumbo jumbo that a lot of people seem to think it is. It's really quite precise.
And also, tell us, ma'am, if an young professional, like very young, they're coming and
Hmm.
meeting you and they're not kind of knowing what to do in the short term, what to do in the long term for the goals. So, how will you be helpful for them? So, tell us about it, ma'am.
So see, what you said is that basically if somebody doesn't know what their goals is, that itself is a problem. So we need to address that first. And usually if somebody is unclear about their goals, we'll be able to find a big Vastu defect in the east and even definitely northeast. So that itself is something to be looked at.
So basically, I'm just thinking, wondering like, okay, everything starts with Vastu because the basic purpose of our life is to find some goals, make it as our professional career and do something. It may be not earning money or something like that. It may be something because of our passion, we should have some short term or long term goals. So I'm very astonished to see that, okay, Vastu also plays a very vital role in deciding what kind of career goals should we have in the long term and short term. So yeah, ma'am.
100%. You know, the
So
clearer our
yeah, you could
goals,
just continue.
the better our decisions, the better our lives. If decision making is not correct, then how can success come? Correct. And there are actually forces which govern our decision making. There are planets that govern our decision making, magnetic currents, gravitational fields, kinetic forces. Even these take a big part in how we process information. So Vastu is quite powerful, and at Vastu Ayushi, we have been doing a lot of research in this field and trying to come up with solutions to help people.
So that's great to know that scientific forces, the outside forces, like as you told, the gravitational forces, the other things also works in favor of us when we kind of align with the Vastu of the building, according to the person who is living that inside that building. So most of the people will be thinking like, okay, if a person is visiting a Vastu consultant, it will be like they want to have a lot of money, prosperity, something like that. So is it actually the right thing why most of the people flock to you, or is there any kind of other reasons, ma'am? So tell us about it, ma'am.
See, we have to first address what is wealth. Now, wealth is a mindset. I remember before we started the recording, we were talking about mindset. So, you know, you take a millionaire, okay, and you take away all his wealth. In 1 year, he'll be able to earn it back, correct?
Exactly.
And you take a poor person who's not able to, who's never had that kind of success in life, you give him a million dirham lottery. He will lose all of that in 1 year, he'll be back to square one. So if I can make a joke, I have a friend who says that, she can make anybody a millionaire. You just have to start with a billion. Joke. But see, wealth is a certain way of being, it's a mindset, and so is everything else, whether it's happiness, relationships, health. That's what our Shastras talk about, right? It's like how to hold yourself to the best version of yourself, and that's what we work on. Because, see, whatever forces there are, whatever planets there are, whatever elements we speak about in Vastu, they affect our mind first. And
Exactly.
all these things, so that affects our decisions, and our decisions, they impact all of the above: health, wealth, relationships, you name it. So bad decisions or choices equals to bad outcomes. And once you are aligned, your mind is freed and set on the right path. Wealth, prosperity, relationships, they're all byproducts and they all come to you easily. My guru actually just spoke to me very recently about mindset. And he keeps repeating this topic about mindset over and over again. And the one thing that really sticks with me is that when you ask the right questions, you always get the right answers. So it's the questions we ask ourselves. It is that internal dialogue that we have with ourselves that is so very important.
So basically, most of the people will be questioning themselves or they'll be questioning others the wrong question. Like, how will you not be able to do it? How will you be able to do it? And it's impossible. But the thing is that out of these three questions, it's not like you should be asking like you'll not be able to do it and how you will be able to do it, and it's impossible to do. It's simply like concentrate on one single question which is most powerful and which is to be looked at. How
Correct.
can we achieve it? So that's the right question,
Correct.
because that's the mindset which we should have. Of course, everything is like totally like impossible if we want to see ourselves like what we are doing right now. We are in Dubai and I'm in India, so we are just talking to each other, and the science has helped us connect to each other via this Zoom meeting. So this was also a vision of somebody, like he or she, before 2 decades, like before 20 years, they'll be thinking like if there is any kind of something like a video call or something like that, we can talk to each other simultaneously irrespective of whatever locations they are in any part of the world. It will be helpful for them. So the mindset, the correct question, okay, I should do this, I should do that, okay, what are the helps, what are the measures should I look upon to make this happen? So I think that is what we are right now. So anything is possible.
Correct. Correct.
And I think, okay, if our mindset has to change, normally like most it's okay, I'll be telling you a normal example. It's not like based in Vastu. If anybody wants to have a change in mindset, they have to refresh their mind. They have to go to a new place. They have to have some new kind of environment where they have some positive vibes. So in order to get all these kind of positive vibes, in order to have a good environment, we should have a good place where it is all set in. So that's where your work comes into place. If you're having a good Vastu, then it automatically gives you a normal natural force where we can actually have all these kind of things. Each and every day will be like refreshing to our minds, our mindsets. So I think
Absolutely, absolutely. So, there's a branch in architecture called neuroarchitecture. And now science has started to document and try to research on all these things. And, they have been able to come up and understand that how our space affects our mindset even. But our Shastras have known this all the time. Our Shastras have identified more than 45 energy fields in the house that govern our mindset. So imagine the power of the space that you are living. And like you said, like simply put it, if you have a mind block and you go off maybe into the mountains, you will get a different perspective, right? So your environment, when it changes, it can change your thought process and your mindset. So you got it absolutely right, Krishna.
so also tell us, ma'am. So what are the improvements have you seen after you consult a person? And also tell us what happens to your home which hasn't changed its Vastu for many years. So have you seen any improvements? And tell us about your after things after you do a consultant with your clients, ma'am.
So basically, what you're saying is like, for 30 years, my bathroom and kitchen have been in the same place. But all of a sudden, Vastu problems are happening. That's what you're saying, right? And then some Vastu consultant will come and say, your Vastu is not right. But I've been living in this place for 30 years. Nothing has happened. Now, all of a sudden, there is Vastu problem. So, how does this make sense? Correct.
Exactly.
So, this is an important question. I know Vastu consultants who will casually come and say कि इस टॉयलेट की वजह से तुम्हारी opportunity stuck हो गई हैं. That is an oversimplification. So to understand real Vastu, we need to understand its origins. Now, what are its origins? I like to come back to this story again and again because many people don't know it. The first architect, okay, the first person who wrote the book on Vastu Shastra is also the person who wrote the foremost book on astronomy and astrology. It's a Bible even till today. It's called Surya Siddhant. So if that person, his name is Mayasur, now if that person surely recognized the importance of astrology, the cosmos, and the space that we live in. All right. It's deeply intertwined cosmology, time, planetary movements. So your house may not have changed, but you have changed, correct? You are not the same person. Your dasha has changed, your planetary activations have shifted. So your role, your responsibilities, your stress levels, your goals all evolve. So the question really is, if you are not the same person anymore, should your Vastu response remain the same? And that's why actually most of my clients, they keep renewing their Vastu engagement with me every year. So we call it like a Varshfal analysis. Because every year, different zones of the house get activated or weakened based on your planetary cycle. So what I would like to say is that Vastu is not static. It evolves. Time evolves, stars evolve, you evolve, and your space responds to that evolution.
So you said about the space and the person. So is there
Mhm.
the thing where the element happens?
So basically, when we talk about the space and the person in that space, now this is a part which most Vastu consultants actually miss out on. They know, they understand your house, how to create the dimensions, how to plan the house, where should the furniture be, where should you sleep, where should your puja ghar be. But they miss out on this very, very critical component when they are doing Vastu, is that who is the person residing in that space? What are these group of people, for example, if you're doing for an office or something, are they going to be doing in that space? What kind of energy levels do they need to have? What kind of stress levels do they need to have? So your karam, your profession, your personal element, like what is your personal element, whether supposing, I see your astrology chart or I meet you, I talk to you, I realize that, you are a air element person. Now, if I restrict your movement, if I don't give you those big windows and that freedom to move around and that kind of space where your element thrives, एंड आई से नहीं 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 इस घर को तो अर्थ एलिमेंट से बैलेंस करना ही है बिकॉज हमें ऐसे सिखाया गया है तो फिर पूरा गलत हो जाएगा आई विल बी डूइंग अ डिससर्विस बिकॉज समटाइम्स व्हाट आई वांट टू डू व्हाट आई मे नीड टू डू इज मुझे सिर्फ आपकी जो कोर एलिमेंट है उसको ही स्ट्रेंथन करना होता है और कहीं कहीं से जो आपके मिसिंग एलिमेंट्स हैं उनको थोड़ा सा एड ऑन करना पड़ता है राइट तो ये पूरा it needs to be taken holistically. It can't. So what I'm trying to say is that balance is key. करेक्ट तो ऐसे ही इसको बोलते हैं फास्ट फूड वास्तु ओके फास्ट फूड वास्तु मतलब आके आपको बोल देंगे कि आपका साउथ ईस्ट का किचन बहुत अच्छा है एंड नॉर्थ ईस्ट का टॉयलेट बहुत बुरा है एंड सी दिस इज नॉट रॉन्ग fast food vastu is not wrong. If you're hungry, a burger is going to satisfy you. It's not going to meet your nutritional needs. It's not going to meet your, you know, vitamin profile that you need, but it'll satisfy your hunger. But if you make this junk food your main lifestyle, your main diet, then ये होता है हानिकारक. Correct? Is bad for health. So same way with Vastu, we have two kinds of Vastu. Okay, and I'm not going to say that it is wrong or something, and there are Vastu consultants who just don't know their job. I'm not going to say that because everybody is working hard and there is a place for everything. But I'm just trying to say that as a consumer of Vastu, you should know what you want. तो एक होता है फास्ट फूड वास्तु और एक होता है वास्तु आयुषी वास्तु जो हम एंशंट वैदिक सिस्टम से लेके हमने उसके ऊपर रिसर्च किया है एंड वो ही हम जो एंशंट वैदिक वास्तु है वो ही करते हैं वो it is long process it requires a lot of deep analysis and we don't finish our projects so fast sometimes even simple projects they we involve and engage ourselves so much that it can go on for a long time and we engage in very very deep level conversations with our clients तो जैसे मैं कह रही थी कि फास्ट फूड वास्तु में साउथ ईस्ट किचन एंड अच्छा है और नॉर्थ ईस्ट टॉयलेट पूरा है पर अगर हम पूरा पिक्चर देखें और इस इंसान के एस्ट्रोलॉजी देखें तो व्हाट विल वी डिस्कवर that sometimes the southeast kitchen itself is the reason for a downfall. And because a Vastu consultant came and they said ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट टॉयलेट तो आपको हटाना पड़ेगा, जिस दिन आपने वो नॉर्थ ईस्ट टॉयलेट को हटाया, उस दिन से आपकी सच्ची वाली डाउनफॉल चालू हो गई। पहले तो यू वर जस्ट फियरफुल दैट नॉर्थ ईस्ट टॉयलेट है, क्या होगा, सब बोल रहे बुरा है, तो हटा ही देते हैं। हटा दिया, आपने जो शांत ग्रह बैठा था उसको आपने जगा दिया। तो नेचुरली उसके बाद जो होना है इट्स गोइंग टू बी क्वाइट सिवियर। So in our fast food Vastu, we don't understand how deep some of these professions can go. Some of our recommendations can go. So we have to be very careful and we have to be responsible. ठीक है?
So yeah, before 10 to 20 years, like I have my individual home, like I have shifted to a new home right now. So the same problem they told us, like your toilets where it's present, it's not in the right place. We have to actually change it. So that's what's the total hindrance for your success. So the same thing you are just repeating. So yeah, that do happens. And also at the same time, people do wonder. So most of the people say the same thing, what should we do? So now you have actually cleared most of the doubts what people actually have in their minds. So yeah, ma'am. So that was a very interesting topic which we have discussed about Vastu. And also tell us, ma'am, being a Vastu consultant, what will be your typical consultation be like? So if a person is coming and visiting you and they want some kind of Vastu guidance from you, from the very first meeting, so till the end, and after your consultations, you will be doing a lot of support to your clients. So tell us about the entire process from the beginning to the end. What are the things that you are doing as a Vastu consultant, and what can we expect when we meet a Vastu consultant like you, and what will be the typical day will be like, ma'am?
For sure. So Vastu Ayushi, we have a very unique four-layer method which we like to follow. And let me just guide you through what Vastu is actually in this process. So our four-layer method we developed after 6 years of research and after lots and lots of studies. So let's see layer number one. Okay, layer number one is our cosmology. Cosmology is very important. What is happening up in the universe? When was the time of the birth of the person? That chart. The cosmology at that time. What is the cosmology right now? अब कैसी ग्रह चाल चल रही है? ओके, वो घर का एस्ट्रोलॉजी क्या है जहाँ हम रिजाइड करें या जो हमारा फैक्ट्री या ऑफिस है, क्योंकि वो भी एक मुहूर्त के अनुसार बना है, राइट? तो उसकी भी एक कुंडली बनती है। तो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कॉस्मोलॉजी, लेयर नंबर वन। लेट्स टॉक अबाउट लेयर नंबर टू। नाउ दिस लेयर वी कैन कॉल द ग्लोबल लेयर। अभी इस लेयर में आता है हमारे जो एक्सटर्नल इन्वायरमेंट में क्या हो रहा है। Now tell me, Krishna, external environment is important, right? Where are the
Exactly.
mountains? Where are the rivers? All those kind of things. If we are not in that kind of thing, then what kind of buildings are around me? Then I need to come to the closer environment of the house. Now, this closer environment will be like in my immediate area, what is there? Does that also not govern our Vastu? Of course. Of course, it is going to govern how comfortable we are going to be in our space, how well we are going to be productive in our space, how much harmony we are going to have in our space. If I have a commercial mall right beside my house and I'm the kind of person that I want lots of peace and quiet, will I get it in that house? No. So this is also important. External environment, immediate environment, and then we come to the house. Now, most of the time in this topic of Vastu, you will only hear what is happening in the house, where your furniture should be, what your ratios of the house should be, ceiling height, room layout, all of these things, right? Uh, this is what we know as typical Vastu, but Vastu is a lot more deeper than that, and that is why we have these four layers. So, in even neuroarchitecture only talks about this layer, where we see what is happening in the house, how it is constructed, what materials are used, what colors we will use, how we will do the interior placement, and all of those things. The sloping, the where we will keep the height, the elevation of the house, all of these things come in this global level. Now let's talk about the third layer, telluric level. Now, what is telluric level? This is where we find out what is the energy from the land. What is the purpose of this land? Because every land has a different purpose, right? According to its soil quality, according to so many various things. Now, we also in this telluric level, we have to understand and find out where are the Hartmann lines, the Curry lines, the converging spots. Where are these power spots? Are they negative or positive? This is called geostress. Okay, and this geostress ends up affecting our lives, our health, and our operations, even if it is just the life of a building or the operational performance of machines. So telluric level or these geostress points, they affect us. Now, up till almost about 10th story of a building, this geostress affects us, correct? And we can talk about it more. So this is our telluric level, okay? Because if your land energy is good, your 70% of your Vastu is done over there, right? So now we'll reach the fourth layer of Vastu Ayushi analysis. And this layer, most people don't talk about at all. It is the human level. Who is the person residing in this house? What is their karma? What is their profession? What is their mindset? Right? This is very important because at the end of the day, we are designing the space for the person living in the house. Correct?
Exactly.
So, right, got it. So, after all this, typically we will go through an analysis and understand all these four layers, how they fit together, and we will calibrate our remedies and install them in the space, right? Or if you're creating a new space, then we create it in such a way that remedies are minimized, correct? Because at the end of the day, a remedy is a remedy. And then we offer support. After we do our Vastu installation, we go into a support system. I'll just repeat that. So after our analysis, and our remedies, we offer our clients support because we can't just do the work and leave and disappear. Clients are going to come back to you with lots of questions because for a while after doing these things, they are still upgrading and understanding how to be in this new space and how this new space can be with them in harmony. So for that process, we offer them support, constant support for the next 6 months.
Great to know that you're providing support even after the consultation for 6 months.
Absolutely.
And also at some point
Absolutely.
of time, you are speaking about geopathic stress. So actually, can you please briefly explain the meaning behind this geopathic stress?
So, in short, like forget all the jargon. In short, is the simple explanation is that, have you ever noticed that you will go into some space and all of a sudden you will feel very calm and very relaxed and for no reason. And then you will go into some space and you will feel stressed and anxious and your heartbeat will race. Correct? So, in simple, you can say that is geostress. Okay, specifically, there are some forests which have this geostress, right? And you will be able to see it in the formation of the trees. And often there are myths that are around these forests. I don't know if you've heard about these kind of forests, but they are all over India. And there are myths that you should not even enter that forest. You should not even pluck a leaf from that forest because you will get some kind of major dosh. So this is the fear that they put. But actually, these are spots, these are spaces of extreme geostress, and they are not meant for human living.
So it's basically like
Simply put it like that.
the Bermuda Triangle myth. So the flights, the ships should not go to that Bermuda Triangle where they'll be feeling a lot of gravitational force, something like that. They believe whatever objects fly through it or sail through it, it gets sunk in inside the sea and the contact gets cut. So in the same way, there are certain places that you told, like there may be some forest in India, there may be some places where we should not go in any parts of the world because that will be having a different kind of thing. So yeah,
Correct. So as
certain
a Vastu consultant, actually, we will find out where are these. So there are positive points also that emit from the earth, positive power spots. So as a Vastu consultant, we should be able to identify where are the negative spots, where are the positive spots, take advantage of the positive spots, neutralize the negative spots, and maybe even artificially create some positive spots so that our land supports us in the correct way.
So yeah. Also
Hmm.
tell us, ma'am. So whenever a person is coming to us a client, is it most of the older persons because they mostly believe in Vastu, also younger generations, but very few people believe in Vastu. They do come and visit. So tell us, what are the majority kind of people who visit you? Like it may be the older kind of people, or it may be from particular region, because most of people from this region they will be believing a lot about Vastu. So tell us about your variation of clients and the different types of clients that you meet in your regular basis in your professional life, ma'am.
Correct. So overall, I get two sets of clients. One are families and one are business people, like in work. So these families, I'm almost like you can say a family doctor to them. They will come to me anytime there is a new event in their house, baby is born, some new business they want to start, anything at all. They are constantly in touch with me. I have their astrological charts, I have their Vastu plans, and they keep renewing year after year because these are the people they want to always be aligned. Okay, and then I have a separate set of people who want business prosperity, who want their work to flow without any hitches. So they will also be the kind of people that come to me regularly for Vastu support.
So I understand that most of business people who wants to have a lot of prosperity in the business, they usually visit you, and there are certain people who wants to have some success, they also visit you. So if anybody wants to become a successful professional Vastu consultant like you, so tell us, ma'am, what are the qualifications do they require to become a very successful and accurate Vastu consultant?
Okay, so honestly, whatever titles you hear, Acharya, Vastuvid, PhD wala doctor, these titles don't matter in this field. What actually matters is one simple thing, that are you able to help the people find real solutions to their problems, right? And this comes with keen observation. There is one skill you need to have: observation. So Vastu is an extremely vast subject. Okay, there are thousands of shastras, texts, and manuscripts, and the truth is that a large part of them have not even been deciphered yet. So there was a Vastu conference I went to in Trivandrum a few years ago, and one of the research was this, that only 20% of our books have been deciphered. The rest are undeciphered. So when we don't even know what is out there, how can anybody call themselves an acharya or a doctor or anything of that sort? So it's quite meaningless. In fact, some of the texts they're not even there in India. Okay, they're in other libraries in other part of the world. So that what was very, very shocking. Okay. So the question is, what are we really calling expertise? So that's why, like, almost 40% of my time, it goes into research. I take a lot of time and I do research, I study, I compare, I test, I observe, and then I translate that into insights with, like simple practical solutions that people can actually apply. So for me, real Vastu is evidence-based Vastu. At Vastu Ayushi, it is evidence-based Vastu. And this is what I've personally seen working in real homes, offices, and businesses. And that's what I use. So because I've seen these results, I'm able to replicate these outcomes for my clients. And I always say, okay, so Vastu is like a toolbox, correct? If you have a hatoda, then everything is going to look like a nail, correct? But sometimes you need a screwdriver. So you have to have multiple tools working together. And before choosing any tool, the most important step is understanding the problem first. And this is where most people go wrong. So today you'll see almost every house has a painting of these running horses everywhere, right? This is like a Vastu favorite, means you will know somebody's done Vastu when you enter the house and you'll see these running horses. And that's because people think it's automatically auspicious. Now, without context, without diagnosis, even a good remedy can become noise. Correct? So for me, it's never about the title. So titles, they create followers, results, they create trust. And Vastu, especially at Vastu Ayushi, at the end of the day, is about results.
So great to know about all these kind of interesting facts. So also, when it comes to Vastu, you spoke about certain paintings, certain things that we keep in home for good kind of success. Certain people, I think there is a fish called Vastu fish. They used to have in that aquarium in the home, and there are certain paintings like seven horses running, like. Believe it or not, before 5 to 6 years, I think it's not too much long, before few years my friend got married, and we presented them the seven horse painting. And at the time I was just thinking like, okay, it must be some normal gifts which they picked up in the store randomly. But right now, speaking to a lot of people like great professionals like you, I came to a point like, okay, they present these kind of gifts like the seven horses, so they'll be having a good success in their life, because Vastu actually tells that, okay, this kind of paintings should be there. And also at the same time, according to a Vastu person, tell us where is the right space where we should hang this, where should we have this seven horse painting, so that it will bring some good luck and prosperity in their life, ma'am.
See, first of all, let me say it very clearly, it's never that simple. You will not get that kind of answer from me. I know you want to hear it. This seven horse painting you put in the east, it will give you growth. You put in the north, it will give you opportunities. You will not hear that answer from me. So, in fact, a seven horse painting can be very powerful or it can be very dangerous. So, if it's a right painting in the right direction with the right planetary alignment, it can bring tremendous success and momentum. Okay, and if it's placed wrongly, then it can cause setback, instability, or maybe nothing at all. कुछ नहीं होगा, right? अच्छा होगा, बुरा होगा, या कुछ नहीं होगा. So listen to this carefully. Okay, so before placing any horse painting, the first step is not direction. The first step is analysis. ठीक है? We need to see आपका मंगल, सूर्य, चंद्र किधर है बर्थ चार्ट में. आपकी मेष राशि कैसी है. After that, we have to check that whether placing these simple symbols will activate or negatively hit any planet or house in the birth chart. So this is how deep real Vastu goes. Then comes the next layer, that when you are placing that horse painting, the number of horse matters. Is it going to be 3, 5 or 7? Again, it is not random. The birth chart decides that, right? What number will support you and what number will create friction. Then comes the color of these horses. Now, white horses, brown horses, multicolored horses also I've seen, red background, white background, blue skies, all of this matters. And how does it matter? I can't give you general, because it depends on each person's birth chart. And even the terrain matters. Where is this horse running? Are they running in the sky? Are they running in the sand? Are they running in the water? Are they running, where are they running? So the background also activates different elements. The terrain also activates different elements. Now, listen to this very carefully. One absolute no. The horses should never look angry, aggressive, or violent. Correct? So, reject that painting immediately. That kind of imagery creates pressure, conflict, impatience. We also have to check that are these horses being restrained, right, with a leash or reins or something like that. Okay, then comes the deeper symbolism. See, what are these horses? Are they Surya Dev's Rath? Okay, or are they supposed to be Uchai Shravas? So Uchai Shravas बोलते हैं साउथ में लगा दो, it's a celestial flying horse with wings, right? उसकी traditionally शास्त्रों में लिखा है कि साउथ में लगा दो. So like I said, you want me to say that north will give you opportunities, east will give you growth, south में लगा दो तो fame or name मिलेगा. But real Vastu is not generic like that, correct? Without personal alignment, these directions become guesses, not solutions.
Yeah, that
So
was
we shouldn't place them like near bathrooms, nor we should place them near bedrooms, actually never inside the bedroom, and not even in the mandir. So I would say safe zones will be like living room, office, those kind of general areas. And sometimes they even say that you should place it right in front of your door. As soon as you enter the house, you should see that painting the first, because that activates intention and momentum daily. So there are different ways of doing this. You can see how complicated it can get, right? So in Vastu, it's that symbols, they don't work by belief. They work by alignment. And without alignment, like even the most auspicious remedy, it can backfire.
Yeah, it's like doing yoga. You should do it rightly, or else you will be having many side effects in your body. So, in the same way, if you're going to have any kind of good vastu in your home, make sure you place it in the right manner. Like as you said, the safe place to have those kind of wall painting is the entrance where people enter into the room, like the very first living room. And also at the same time, like you're right now in Dubai, ma'am. So tell us, ma'am, so is there any kind of difference, like wherever we actually want to have some Vastu consultants? Is it the same rules that apply? Like I'm in India right now, so is it like both North Indian and South India are having the same kind of rules in Vastu, or is it like difference in this different parts of India? And also tell us about you are living in Dubai. So how is it will be like in Dubai, or where in Western or Eastern or any parts of the world? So tell us about the rules that happens in different regions in different parts of the world, the principles of Vastu, man.
So, Krishna, this is how, in the initial days, my curiosity for this subject, it took me everywhere, like from, you can say, Kashmir all the way down to the tips of India, to the south of India. And what I realized is that yes, Vastu, they pick up different Vastu texts, okay, and they popularize those in different areas of India. So Vastu will sound very different in North India and very different in South India, very different East and West also. So whilst doing my studies and my research, I realized that yes, there are differences, but at the end of the day, the fundamentals, they remain the same. In fact, I studied from Vastu gurus in South India who you cannot, they don't even know when Vastu started in their family. Like for generations, they've been doing Vastu. Their granddad will do Vastu. Their great great granddad also did Vastu. They don't even know that who was a person not doing Vastu. Correct. So if you study from them, which I have, they approach Vastu in a very different way. Correct. But fundamentally, it is all the same. And in Dubai, it is like, people will come and ask me actually. They are very curious over here for Vastu homes. It's become very, very popular now. Everybody wants a Vastu auspicious home now, and they'll say, can you show me? But listen, I'm not a real estate broker. I'm not a salesperson. My role is an independent Vastu consultant. So I can objectively tell them, see, what is the Vastu score of a property? What works, what doesn't, and what can be corrected and remedied. So having said that, yes, over the years, I have a few ready properties in Dubai that are beautifully Vastu aligned. Okay, and they are very rare. So that's why I'll only show them like to a handful of my private clients, not to anybody, honestly. And let's like address a big fear also. In Dubai, like a lot of them will say south facing home is a big no-no. In fact, in South India, I know south facing home is actually preferred. But most people over here, they might be North Indian and they're looking and they'll say south facing. But you know what? In Dubai, where we are designing houses around water bodies, around lakes, around the sea, around swimming pools, having a south facing home, okay, with the correct entry can actually become a very vastu auspicious living space because then our water body can either come in the north or northeast, and that is the most ideal placement for it for most people. Again, right? So,
Yes.
what I can say is that whilst everybody is getting very vastu conscious and they are investing in these properties, okay, in properties in Dubai. The thing is that some of the most luxurious properties I have seen the biggest Vastu fails, the biggest Vastu doshas. And you can't even do anything about it because it's that dosh is created by the community. Right? So you've heard of Dwar Ved. Most of these houses they will have a Dwar Ved or they will have something called a smell Ved. Right? So for example, in there are iconic structures over here. Okay, and apartments will cost maybe 7-8 million also, or one bed or something like that. And you will come out in a beautiful Range Rover, something beautifully dressed with nice perfume, and you parked your car in the basement. You come out of your car, and the first thing you smell is sewage smell, correct? Now that's a big Vastu dosh as well. Now, in such an amazing architecture, these things where they don't follow bylaws of nature can create these kind of problems. That's why to have a Vastu consultant on board when you are starting a project is very important because these kind of things they cannot be corrected later on.
Great. So also tell us, ma'am, are there any Vastu properties in Dubai other than this that you wanted to tell to people, ma'am?
This is the thing. So I do have a set of Vastu properties. See, I'm not a salesperson, like I said, but I'll only show them to a few of my clients because they are so rare. And unless somebody is creating a house, then I work with them from the get-go, before the architectural drawings are even done. Because like I said, some of these structures that we've seen today, very luxurious homes, but basic Vastu defects like, sewage in the wrong place or not properly constructed, septic tanks, and garbage lines going in the wrong place, those cannot be corrected later on. Remedies don't work so well.
So most of the people they visit you, they'll be like some of the people they'll be like totally skeptical about Vastu. So is it how that you meet most of your clients? So tell us about it, ma'am.
See, I welcome skepticism because that's how my journey started. I never try to convince people. So when I see something new in a Shastra, for example, I'll pick it up and I look at it with skepticism first. Okay, I will try it out. I will test it. If it works once, I will try it again. I'll test it. If it works twice, over and over again, until I can repeatedly get the same results and make it into some kind of a formula. That's what I call evidence based. So, Vastu Ayushi means evidence based Vastu, where the work speaks for itself, right? So, I don't need to convince anybody. In fact, my first guru, he's the one who taught me the most important lesson of life is to be skeptical, actually, because even in the spiritual practices we do now, this might be a little deep, and I don't know if you want to put this on your platform, but I'll say it because sometimes even the most spiritual practices we do, thinking we are elevating ourselves, we don't realize we get more entangled in that very same brahmajal which we are trying to escape. So from that very important lesson in my very early years, that's why, like, if somebody comes to me with skepticism, I'm all for it.
Tell us, ma'am, there will be some common mistakes that people do in Vastu. So tell us what are the common mistakes that you see in your clients that they're making in this Vastu field, ma'am.
So this last month, I've been on quite a few calls with different people in different walks of life. And a few of the things I'll tell you what I experienced. That most of them, they think that they know Vastu and they don't know how to take the correct directions. Number one, right? They only have that generic surface level Vastu, which is like from Google or Instagram or maybe some short course or something that they did. And they think that they know, but actually they are just creating more fear in their lives, nothing else. And the other thing is that they don't know how to combine it with astrology, which is very important, right? So these are the few things that I feel that people should kind of get right. So, when you have, you remember, right? Like, I think people still do it now. If something small, problem happens first, health-wise, first they will Google it. After Googling it, then, they will come to conclusion that, oh, damn, maybe I have cancer or something, and they will come up with 100 diseases that they have just by doing Google Doctor.
Exactly.
Then they will eventually go to a real doctor, and the real doctor will probably tell them that this is nothing, take this tablet, you will be fine. Correct? So, this
Exactly.
is the same thing that happens even in Vastu, that getting all this information from Google and Instagram Reels, it just creates fear, unnecessary fear, without because we are not taking the help of an expert. Once you take the help of an expert, because they know this field for years and years, they can decode it easily for you, and you don't have to deal with that mess and create unnecessary fear in your life.
It's very simple point. Of course, we can Google whatever problems you're facing in life, but if you want to make sure that we have to analyze it and verify it. So in order to verify it, we should actually go to the right person who is actually having a lot of experience in the particular department. Maybe it may be for a particular disease. We should make a visit with a particular department doctor, or it may be like a Vastu coming to us. They can simply look at the Google and they can see, okay, this. But the thing is that they have to make sure they're verifying it with the right Vastu consultant, a thorough professional like you. So tell us, ma'am, before speaking with Vastu, there will be a lot of things to look about directions. So how they were actually looking at the directions then, and tell us about the right way by which actually we should actually point out with the directions. So tell us about the directions department in this Vastu, ma'am.
Correct. So, Krishna, see, if I have to tell you about that, I will have to do a whole course with you over like at least 2, 3 days just to understand how to take directions. But mota, okay, I can help you. I can help your viewers try to get a ballpark figure. That's the best I can do. Okay, it will give you a ballpark figure. It's not the way a Vastu consultant will do it. It's not the way I would do it. So, see, the way I'm trained, and the way I train my students also is to work with absolute precision. And that comes when we have a to the scale plan, when we are not using phone compass, when we have a to the scale plan, and when we have a military compass, correct? Or when we have a satellite compass. So that's when we get correct directions. But see, as a Vastu consultant, I can't afford approximation at all. But for your audience, I can definitely help you. For viewers at home, I'll simplify it so that it's not confusing. I know कि बहुत बोलते हैं कि मैं डोर को फेस करूं, बाहर खड़ी रहूं, एंटर होते समय डायरेक्शन लूं. Just forget all that. Keep it simple. Okay, as my Guruji says, keep it simple. Just do one simple thing. आप घर का पहले तो सेंटर आइडेंटिफाई करें, मोटा मोटा सेंटर, घर का सेंटर मेरा क्या है, उधर जाके खड़े हो जाइए. आपका फोन कंपास खोलिए, ठीक है, प्रेफरेबली आईफोन कंपास होना चाहिए, और उसमें आप जाके देखना कि सेटिंग होना चाहिए टू ट्रू नॉर्थ, उतना कर लेना. कैलिब्रेट कर लेना फोन. फोन को पता है कैलिब्रेट कैसे करते हैं, ऐसे फोन को पकड़ना और ऐसे 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 घुमाना, कैलिब्रेट हो जाएगा. देखना कि एक बड़ा क्रॉस आएगा, एक छोटा क्रॉस आएगा, उन दोनों को सही से मिला देना. ठीक है, या तो कोई सरफेस सरफेस पे रख दो, जैसे कोई टेबल या कुछ. ओके, एंड मेक श्योर कि आप कुछ घड़ी वड़ी कुछ नहीं पहन रहे हो, ऊपर कोई बीम शीम नहीं चल रही है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस नहीं है, 2, 3 मोबाइल आपके आसपास नहीं है. ठीक है, तो घर के सेंटर में गए, खड़े हो गए, कंपास खोला, एंड उधर से ही आप देख लो. ऐसे ऐसे फोन को, वापस फोन पकड़ती है, ऐसे फोन को पकड़ना और अपने वो सेंटर में ही खड़े होकर आप देखना कि चलो मेरा दरवाजा इधर है, चलो मेरा टॉयलेट इधर है, मेरा किचन इधर है. उधर से ही पकड़ पकड़ के चेक करना. तो आपको मोटा मोटा आइडिया आ जाएगा कि व्हाट इज वेयर. ठीक है, कंफ्यूज होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. पर जो आपका, जैसे वास्तु आयुषी से कोई कंसल्टेंट जाएगा, मैं जाऊंगी खुद, तो हम ये टेक्निक नहीं यूज करते हैं. हम टू द स्केल प्लान यूज करते हैं, सैटेलाइट डायरेक्शंस लेते हैं या मिलिट्री कंपास से डायरेक्शंस लेते हैं. बट अगर आप घर बैठ रहे हो, this can give you a very good idea and you don't have to get confused with anything कि मेरा facing क्या है, मैं घर के बाहर हूँ, घर के अंदर हूँ, कुछ भी नहीं. ठीक है, keep it simple.
Also, that was a lot of things that we have discussed about Vastu. So tell us, ma'am, what made you choose this profession and why do you do this work? So tell us about your eagerness, your kind of motto that you're doing this Vastu consultant works in Dubai, ma'am.
Sure. So, whilst I was studying, definitely there was a curiosity to keep on studying because the subject is so deep, it will take lifetimes to learn, correct? So, over that journey, what I realized is why I got into it as a profession is because I saw a lot of this junk food vastu going around, and people are not getting real results or they are getting short-lived results, correct? So to change people's perceptions, I really wanted to enter this field so that I can do that. I can make people love their homes and not be scared of their homes, right? That's a big concern that I was seeing, that people are, just being afraid of the space that they are staying in, thinking that something is going to happen to them. But it's not like that. Correct. It's not like that at all, right, Krishna? So,
Exactly.
and from a personal thing, from being an aesthetic mindset person, I wanted them to stop decorating their homes with, all these kitsch Vastu elements like these horses and all these figures here and there. When you enter these homes which have just had a Vastu consultant freshly in, you'll see a lot of these typical things going around. And, you know, people को चाहिए कि उनको लगता है कि मैं ये चीज लगा दूंगा तो कोई मैजिक हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है. These artifacts that are sold under the name of Vastu, they have a space for sure, but not like how people are using it. So I wanted to change that perception. I wanted to show them the real way to do Vastu, how deep that subject is. I wanted them to feel that real alignment with the bylaws of nature. So I like to see, that powerful, impactful transformation in my clients' lives. And that's why I'm here. That's why I created Vastu Ayushi, where we follow these ancient Vedic systems, which actually take lifetimes to learn.
So that's really
So
great.
thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, that's really a great thing that you're doing a lot of things genuinely and with having a lot of experience, thorough knowledge in your Vastu consultant department. So one final question for this interview is very simple, ma'am. Via this interview, if you want to kind of tell any kind of message to the people, it may be to the old age persons, it may be to the middle aged persons, it may be to the kids, whatever it may be. So tell us that one message that you want to convey to the audience who are watching this interview right now, ma'am.
So the one message is कि आप अपने घर को डर की नजरों से नहीं देखो. Enjoy your living space. Align it with the bylaws of nature. And I'm always there to answer anybody's questions. You can follow me on Vastu Ayushi S on Instagram. हमारा YouTube चैनल भी अभी चालू है. अभी चालू हुआ है. वास्तु आयुषी को सर्च कर दीजिए, मिल जाएगा. ayushi.com हमारा वेबसाइट है. There are many ways to reach me. I'm available to answer anybody's questions so that they can live a peaceful, harmonious life aligned with the bylaws of nature.
So thank you once again, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to host this interview. We have once again spoken a lot about Vastu. So people who are watching this interview right now, please do subscribe to our Women Today YouTube channel. So and please click on the bell icon so that you can receive notifications whenever I do post new videos regarding women entrepreneurs and working women across different cities in India and also across different countries in the world. So today's your host is Krishna, hosting this Women Today YouTube channel, and today's our guest is from Dubai. Her name is Ayushi. She is the founder of Vastu Ayushi in Dubai, and there is a lot of things we have discussed about Vastu. I'll mention her Instagram link down in the YouTube description. So people who wants to have some Vastu kind of knowledge can approach her via message in Instagram and also a website. I'll just mention all the details over here in the YouTube description. So thank you once again, Vastu Ayushi ma'am, for giving me once again a great opportunity to host you in this wonderful interview in this Women Today YouTube channel. Good evening. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am.